başla diyeyim. Hazır olduğunuzda başlayabiliriz.
Tamam mıyız?
Tamamız.
Hadi başlayalım bakalım. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on our YouTube channel. So last week I was on the road, as you know, so I wasn't able to give a lesson, but today we're back on track. So if you're new to the channel, please go through the free education center courses, semester 1, 2, 3. That'll give you a nice little basis and a foundation on the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you're interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, always feel free to go to kabbalah.info and hook up with a lot of people from KABU Academy, or you can find a lot of material there to read about the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you're not new and you're following us every Tuesday, let's get smashing. Today we've got lesson 4 from the previous Congress that we just went through, discovering the power of connection. If you have any questions, shoot them through as usual. We'll try to fix them as we go along. Before we move forward, I've been informed Ingrid had a question from last time we had a lesson, and she's asking, are books and Rav also part of the group and the environment? That is correct. The books, the lessons, the Rav, the friends, they're all part of the environment. Very, very important part of the environment. There are actually 3 things in the environment: the sources that we study, the Rav, and the friends. That's it. All right. So nice question. Let's move forward. So this is, once again, lesson number 4 from the Congress we went through about 5-6 weeks ago, discovering the power of connection. And once we do this, these 8 items, we will have completed all the Congress lessons. All right, so let's keep reading. This is excerpt number 1 from Baal Islam, and the article name is 600,000 Souls. There is indeed only one soul in the world. That same soul exists in all the children of Israel, complete in each and every one, as in Adam Harishon. Since the spiritual is indivisible and cannot be cut, which is rather a trait of corporeal things, rather, saying that there are 600,000 souls and sparks of souls appears as though it is divided by the force of the body of each person. All right, let's go through that again. There is indeed only one soul in the world. That same soul exists in all the children of Israel, complete in each and every one, as in Adam Harishon, since the spiritual is indivisible and cannot be cut, which is rather a trait of corporeal things. So basically, Baal Islam is saying, look, don't look at the 8 billion people out there. This is just a number, but we're not interested in numbers. A soul is a power, it's a force. So when all the parts of like a body come together, that body can function, it can do things. And the same thing applies for all of us who have a dot in the heart. So if we have a dot in the heart, if we have that awakening, and what we'd like to do is push forward in our spiritual attainment, when we come closer and closer and closer together, we complement each other, we complete each other, and that one scenery or this one picture starts to form, and that's called a soul. So rather, it looks like there's doesn't look like there's one soul when we look at the world. But if you think about it from the perspective of an integral creation, then we can all understand that everything is connected and integral. This is why the still, vegetative, animate, and the speaking and us, we're all connected in one system, and one without the other, well, without the lower levels, we can't sustain ourselves either. All right. So everything and everyone is really interconnected. And that's what Balastam is trying to tell us all. So the children of Israel is obviously, we're not talking about here a group of people. Everybody has a dot in the heart in the world. Question is, who wants to realize it? That's the question. All right. So those who want to realize it, they want to attain that purpose of life. And that's why it's talking about the children of Israel there. But children of Israel could be anyone around the world. Anyone with a dot in the heart who has an awakening. It's called sons of Israel or the children of Israel. All right. So don't get it mixed up with all the religious stuff that's going on around the world. Rightio. Rather, saying that there are 600,000 souls and sparks of souls appears as though it is divided by the force of the body of each person. So we all feel ourselves in a separated body, but that's our perception. Because in reality, there's no such thing because of the integrality of reality. This is why animals, plants, the still level, they all feel like they're part of a harmonious nature, except us, because our nature works in an opposite way to the laws of general nature. This is why we're going through a lot of harsh sufferings in our lives and so on. So all this brokenness, all this separatedness, all this shattering that we're feeling, these terrible things that we're going through in life is simply because our perception of reality is faulty, and we need to set that straight. Let's move on to excerpt number 2. If there is a question, you guys let me know, right? Okay. Okay. Excerpt number 2. Baal Islam, this is from Peace in the World. Each and every individual in society is like a wheel that is linked to several other wheels placed in a machine. This single wheel has no freedom of movement in and of itself, but continues with the motion of the rest of the wheels in a certain direction to qualify the machine to perform its general function. And if there is some malfunction in the wheel, the malfunction is not evaluated relating to the wheel itself, but according to its service and role with respect to the whole machine. This is also a very interesting thing. It's short and sweet, but we need to understand this very clearly because this is how everybody is connected. Each and every individual in society is like a wheel that is linked to several other wheels placed in a machine. Okay, so I think this is all obvious to everyone. Okay, so we're all connected. If the farmers don't grow food, we're all going to starve, right? If somebody doesn't make our clothes, we're all going to be naked and cold. And if somebody doesn't fix the electricity, we're not going to have electricity. We're not going to have water if there's no water services. Everybody understands that everybody in society is an integral part of society. And if it causes harm, then we need to evaluate it according to the harm done to the whole system. Right? So this single wheel has no freedom of movement in and of itself, but continues with the motion of the rest of the wheels in certain direction to qualify the machine to perform its general function. So the society is a machine, and we're all part of it. And if one part of society doesn't do their job properly, well, guess what? We're all going to have some problems. So consider the whole of human society as one society. It's like in family as well, right? So if we got parents, if one of the parents don't do what they're supposed to do, that family is going to break down. It's obvious, right? So It's the same thing. A drop of water and the whole lake is the same thing. So if you look at it from the perspective of a family, you look at it from the perspective of your local community, your country, the whole world, we're all integrated. So the whole idea is we need to understand that the whole of humanity is one society. And look now what's happening right now in the world, right? We have wars in a few places and it's impacting the whole world. It's not just impacting those two countries. If that was the case, we wouldn't care. Okay, we wouldn't care. We'd just say, well, it's none of my business. Okay, I'll just keep on living my life in a happy, chappy way and move forward. But it's not like that. Why? Because oil prices go up, sunflower seed oil prices go up, energy prices go up, natural gas prices go up, so food prices go up. So two countries having war with each other, all of a sudden we're paying 2 times, 3 times as much as we normally would for a plane ticket or whatever we're eating, right? So we can't really say that even if two countries are having a war, we're all immune from its effects. And if there is some malfunction in the wheel, the malfunction is not evaluated relating to the wheel itself, but according to its service and role with respect to the whole machine. So if somebody starts a war, then we're all in a mess. Same with the world, same with society, same with family, same with a tight knit of friends. All right. So what we all have to understand from this is that we're all interconnected. And if one of us does something to harm the other, then according to the overall harm that person has caused, we can measure the harm. So this is why when we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's very important for all of us to always go in the path of loving others. There's no other way. Okay, humanity is doing the other way. But if we want to advance in spirituality, we have to take another route. And that route is the love of others, caring for others, and so on. Excerpt number 3. There's a question. Okay. Elch is asking, dear teacher, my question is, if every individual soul is interconnected and inseparable from the collective, how do the individual actions or malfunctions impact the whole? And can personal freedom exist within this framework of spiritual unity? Well, we don't know how everybody impacts everybody because we don't know the whole system. If we knew the whole system, then we can envision it. But we don't know. We don't know where everybody belongs. We don't know what everybody's doing. We don't know what everybody's thinking and why they're thinking that way and then acting in a certain way. So all those things we don't know. So we can't calculate that. But can personal freedom exist within this framework of spiritual unity? Personal freedom can only exist in the choice we make, whether we want to advance spiritually or corporeally. Other than that, you can't. Why? Because whatever choice you make, you're going to be a part of the environment and a product of that environment. And that's not going to be your choice. So your only choice is the environment. According to the environment, you get molded. According to that environment, you begin to think, want, and do things. Excerpt number 3. This is from Degal Manene Ephraim. Beshlach. Okay, this is from Zohar, I think. Yes, when Jacob sent. Okay, one who truly wants to serve the Creator must include himself with all creations, connect himself with all the souls, include himself with them, and they with him. That is, you should leave for yourself only what is needed for connecting the Shekhinah, the divinity. This requires closeness, and many people, for the more people serve the Creator, the more the light of the Shekhinah appears to them. For this reason, one must include himself with all the people and with all creations and raise everything to their root, to the correction of divinity. One who truly wants to serve the Creator must include himself with all creations, connect himself with all the souls, include himself with them, and they with him. Okay, so this is what we call inclusion. And recently in the morning lessons, we've been studying what? Hitkalelut, all right? To be united with everybody. So if I want to attain a higher level of consciousness, a spiritual state, both in feeling and understanding, which is what it means to serve the Creator, I have to include myself with all the creations. I have to connect with everyone. By connecting with everyone, I'm actually, what am I doing? I'm actually increasing my perception, aren't I? I'm kind of like deepening my feelings, my understanding. I'm just becoming more and more, I don't want to use the word fat, but wide. Okay, we're getting wide. Why? Because the Kli is growing. So on the one hand, we're going wide. On the other hand, we're going deeper. Because the more I'm connected with everyone, the more feelings, and according to that feeling, I have more understanding and I have more love and so on. So the only way to build myself is with connecting with others. And this is the same thing in our life as well. If I want to grow up, what do? I go to school. What do I have to do? I have to get along with people. Right? So I have to connect with them, get along with them, play along with them, and do what I need to do so we can all connect. And as we connect, we learn. Okay, why? Because we feel more when we connect. Okay. So for this reason, requires closeness and many people, for the more people serve the Creator, the more the light of the Shekhinah appears to them. For this reason, one must include himself with all the people and with all creations and raise everything to their root, which is the Creator, to the correction of the Shekhinah. So the more I connect with people, the more I'm going to discover things I need to change about myself. If I don't connect with people, I don't have any discernments that belong to the human level. And if I don't have such discernments, then there's really nothing for me to work with. It's like a person having a pet and no friends in the human level at all. So that person will be constantly lowering themselves to the degree of the pet they have. Okay, that makes sense? So the dog and the person in a relationship is obviously not good for a person. Okay, so if I want to raise myself, I need the human level. Okay, let's take a look. We've got questions apparently. Vince is asking. Okay. And Ingrid's asking, hello, if one calculates everything according to what is good for others, is this correction? Well, that's a question mark, because for me to calculate what's good for others, I have to feel their desire. I can't just, according to what I think and feel, try to do good to somebody, okay? Because that will be a mess, okay? So first of all, what we have to do is we have to first learn what is good. We have to first learn how to be good, which means how to disconnect ourselves from our egoism. So first, we need this disconnection from our egoism, from our self-benefit, so we can be above our desire to receive for ourselves. And then we can possibly think about doing good to others. Even then, that's a question mark, because doing good to somebody else can only be by bestowing, and bestowing can only happen if I receive something from the Creator to bestow to somebody else. So there's a chain reaction. Well, there's a link here. There's a chain here, right? So certain motion of movements has to occur. Vince is asking, teacher, is it possible for the world outside of B'nai Baruch to slow down the process of unity? The outside world doesn't really have an impact. We have an impact. We have an impact. Why? Because the outside world doesn't really have freedom of choice. Why don't they have a freedom of choice? Because if I only live in one nature, which is to receive pleasure for myself, there's no way I can have free choice, because I'm automatically always thinking about my best benefit. So there is no free choice. People think they're free because they can choose a holiday or what to eat from a menu, but that's not freedom. Imagine thinking you're free because you can choose what to eat from a menu. That is just pathetic. Okay. So they have no choice. We have choice. So we're the ones really impacting reality. So the better we work, the more positive impact we have. It's okay is asking. This is why also Vince, this is why we always say as well, there's none else besides him. Right? So everything is governed by the Creator, done by the Creator, except everything is in the hands of the Creator, except what the Kabbalists is saying, the fear of the Creator. So what we have to do is in our study, kind of bring ourselves to a point where we're like in between the desire to receive and the desire to bestow, in this little thin point, thin line, or thin bridge, sometimes they call it, where we can make a decision on where we want to lean towards. And Isoke is asking, how do we actually change ourselves? We can pray and ask the Creator to change us, but it seems that we're still tripping up over the same thing we've been praying to change. That's true. What can I say? There's nothing else but the desire to change. Our whole work is to build a vessel. A vessel meaning a desire to want to change. It's a whole job. And that's called a prayer. And it comes when a person finally understands there's nothing I can do, but I've done everything. So it takes a lot of time, a long time, for a person to understand that there's nothing else he can do except sit and cry. And that's how it is. And that works, by the way, just like with babies as well. You see, they cry, they get milk. It's exactly like that. When you understand that you just have to call someone who can clean that nappy. And that's the Creator. And he does come, though. It's okay. So we shouldn't be in despair. I am talking from experience. The Creator is good, and he will come when we cry, I can assure you. Let's read a little bit more. If he didn't come before then we wouldn't really value it. What really makes that moment special is that with all your heart, you have a need for the Creator. And that need is like, if you don't get that fulfilled, it's just game over, life's over. So that sensation of needing the Creator needs to be really big inside a person. And then the Creator can fill that in. And this is what the Creator has to do. Okay. It's not a matter of will he do it or not because of laws of nature, right? If there's a desire, there's a fulfillment. So if the fulfillment matches the desire, the Creator cannot say no. Otherwise, that defeats the whole purpose. And that's what we need to understand. So sometimes people get agitated because they say, well, we're praying, and nothing's happening. It's not about praying and praying with my mouth. It's about building a need that cannot be filled with anything else except the Creator. Then you get an answer. Excerpt number 4 from Baal Salam, the teaching of Kabbalah and its essence. The greatest wonder about this wisdom is the integration in it. All the elements of the vast reality are incorporated in it until they come into a single thing, the Almighty who contains them together. The greatest wonder about this wisdom is the integration in it. All the elements of the vast reality are incorporated in it until they come into a single thing, the Almighty who contains them together. So this is actually the outcome of what our work should be in spirituality, when we bring the whole of reality into one completeness. Feeling one complete person, feeling like one complete reality with the Creator. And that's the important thing. All right, that's short and sweet. Let's move on to number 5. This is from Rabash, article number 14, the need for love of friends. See, he's talking about the need for love. Right? The need for the love of friends is the same thing for the need for the love of the Creator. We just don't relate to it that way, unfortunately. But this is exactly how it is, and there is no difference. There's a special power in the adhesion of friends. Since the views and thoughts pass from one to the other through the adhesion between them, each is incorporated with the powers of the other. And by that, each one has the power of the whole society. Therefore, although each person is an individual, he has the power of the whole society. Let's do it again. So this is actually a good exercise you could do all week to test it out. There's a special power in the adhesion of friends. So that we don't know. All right. So initially a person comes to the group. I'm looking at the friends. What do I see? I see a bunch of bodies, right? Everybody's flesh and bone. Everybody's like me. What do I have to do with these people? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So a person doesn't really see anything special until he does. It's going to take some time. Since the views and thoughts pass from one to the other through the adhesion between them, each is incorporated in the power of the other. Now, this is what takes time. When our views pass from one to the other, the adhesion between them, each is incorporated with the powers of the other. This is what makes a 10. This is what makes a group a group. As we study more and more, year by year, we begin to see and feel that what we study is beginning to influence us. And it influences all of us together. So it's like we're cooking all in one pot. So as we're all cooking and cooking and cooking like that stew, all the flavors of all the vegetables and the meat and the sauce, they all go into everything else. So it's all one big mix. And that's exactly how we should be. Everybody is a different vegetable or a different piece of meat, let's say. Okay. But everybody has the sensation of the whole taste of the stew. And by that, each one has the power of the whole society. So by doing so, we're all integrated into that big force. Sometimes we feel that we get a lot of force from the environment, don't we? We feel like we've got the energy to do something, we can push. That's because we're like integrated, but it's not conscious in us yet. Right now, we're not conscious about it because we can't measure it, right? So all of a sudden, we get a good vibe, a good push, a good feeling. This is all incorporation. This is all because our thoughts and desires are like running from one to the other. We're all mingling together, okay? But it's not conscious yet. So when it goes, we're going into a descent, right? And then we've got a descent coming. So that's also not conscious because all of a sudden we feel bad. So initially, for a long time, a person's always measuring the feeling good, feeling bad, feeling good, feeling bad. But we have to snap out of that. And that's what takes time. And the only time it's really, the only time you can snap out of it really is when we're all of us are working for the goal without really thinking about what we feel, but what we want to attain. So the intention and the desire is always above the feeling of good and bad. Otherwise, you get stuck in a swamp, right? And then you'll just stay there for ages and then end up leaving. And by that, each one has the power of the whole society. And this is exactly right. If you've got a good 10, you should be on fire, even when you're having a descent, because descents are inevitable. They're always going to happen, okay? But how you relate to a descent is strength of the 10, right? So it's not about what I'm going through, whether it's a descent or an ascent. The strength that I'm getting is how I'm coping and relating and using that state for the next step. That's the power you're getting. It's an inner resilience plus, on top of that resilience, the added understanding, the mind that works with it, because you're going through emotions and you want to make sense of them. And you want to also make sense with your mind on how to relate to them. And that's what you're getting from the environment. That's why the study is there for. Right? So we study. Why? Not to memorize stuff, because when I'm going through something, I want to use what they've written for me in a sensible way as an advice. And that's what you get from the environment. So if we're all incorporated into that, we begin to understand each other. We begin to feel each other. We begin to like we may be all over the world, but it's like we begin to touch each other, like together. Okay. So that's the sensation we're developing. Therefore, although each person is an individual, he has the power of the whole society. And that is absolutely correct. Even if you're living far away, it doesn't really matter. Because a person is where his thoughts are. So if my thoughts are always with the goal, the group, and I'm working, I have its power. Excerpt number 6. This is from the Zohar. It's about Toldot, the generations. These are the generations of Isaac, item number 3. As man's body divides into organs, and they all stand degree over degree, established one atop the other, and are all one body, similarly, the world, meaning all creations in the world are many organs standing one atop the other, and they are all one body. And when they are all corrected, they will actually be one body. Right, so let's read that again. As man's body divides into organs. Now, when we're talking about the body, we're not talking about the meat and the bone, right? So we're talking about desires. In spirituality, a body is your desire. And it's got a bunch of parts, right? We have a lot of desires. They all stand degree over degree, which means the degree of coarseness is different. Okay? Established one atop the other, and all are all one body and are all one body. Similarly, the world, meaning all creations in the world, are many organs standing one atop the other, and they're all one body. We can see that in society, right? We have the educated, we've got the powerful, we've got the rich, and we've got the low level, right? The uneducated or the common people. Why is it like that? It's like the creator doesn't treat us equal, yeah? Yeah. Perhaps he likes some other people more than us. Possible. Okay. It's not possible. The whole system is that we're one system. So nobody's actually independent. Even the rich. If you're the rich, you see, the richer you are, the more problems you get in life. Why do you think a lot of people don't want to be rich? Because we instinctively understand the more I have, the more problems I have. And who wants problems? Only silly people. So it turns out by becoming rich, you're becoming silly. It sounds like a good idea initially. Oh, I can get whatever I want. It's just get more problems. That's what you're going to get. Okay. So, yeah, it always sounds like a good idea to a person until reality hits you right in between the eyes, they say. And when they're all corrected, they will actually be one body. So when all our desires are working in order to bestow, just like everybody in society is working to bestow to others, then we're all going to feel this completeness together. You can interpret this as a person and all his desires, okay? Or at the end of correction, we can interpret this as the whole of human society. So just like I said it before, a drop of water from the same lake and the lake is the same thing. All right, so Baal Islam, lesson number 13, this is excerpt number 7. You should know that there are many sparks of holiness in each one in the group. When you assemble all the sparks of holiness to one place as brothers with love and friendship, you will certainly have a very high level of holiness for a while from the light of life. Let's read that again. You should know that there are many sparks of holiness in each one in the group. So we need to value all the friends very much. And unfortunately, we don't do that enough. Because when we look at people, like I said a minute ago as well, right? So we look at people and it's like, well, they're people like me and we're all here. They're not people like the outside world. Everybody in the group has a dot in the heart. And without that, they would not be here. Nobody can stay in the study without a dot in the heart, not to mention without a strong dot in the heart, because a lot of people come, right? Thousands and thousands of people. We had like 3 million just pass over our YouTube channel, but we don't see 3 million people study. Okay. Why? Because only the creme de la creme, as they say, has to come to the party. So we have to make sure that when we get to the party, we better strengthen that relationship and everybody really mingles and holds each other and connects. Otherwise, we're also going to lose out. Because at the end of the day, as I always say, the Kabbalists say, the dot in the heart is also just a desire. If I don't strengthen it, it's gonna blow out. That spark will be put off, and there's no real way of bringing it back unless some miracle happens again, which doesn't normally happen. So I wouldn't bet on it. When you assemble all the sparks of holiness to one place, which means that when we all come together in one desire and intention, as brothers, with love and friendship, you will certainly have a very high level of holiness for a while from the light of life. So if we all connect with brotherly love, with friendship, then the Creator will be with us for sure. Once again, why is it for sure? It's laws of nature. If we adapt ourselves to the Creator's love and bestowal, then we can feel it because it's equivalence of form. Just like I can hear certain frequencies. I can hear some, I can't hear some, right? So I can hear what my eardrum is equal to, the wavelength of the frequency. Same here. If we have a great deal of warmth and friendship and love among us, then we can feel it. This is exactly what I mentioned as well earlier, when there's this desire, the need for the Creator, you have to get a feeling. You just have to. It can't work any other way. All right? Laws of nature. We've got one more, and then I'll answer that question, and then we'll call it a night. Excerpt number 8 from, again, Mao Veshemesh Dvarim. It is known that the most important is the true connection among the friends. This causes all the salvations and the sweetening of the judgments. When you gather together in love, brotherhood, and friendship, by this all the judgments are removed and sweetened with mercy. And through the connection, complete mercy and revealed kindness are revealed in the world. Let's read that again. It is known that the most important is the true connection among the friends, right? True connection, only bestowing to the others, no reception for ourselves at all. This causes all the salvations and the sweetening of the judgments. Because by not thinking about myself, I'm actually nullifying all the judgments. So I don't have to worry about myself. Why do we get judgments? Because I think about myself. And I worry about myself. Therefore, I get judgments. When you gather together in love, brotherhood, and friendship, okay, so we're sweetening everything when we gather together. By this, all the judgments are removed and sweetened with mercy, and through the connection, complete mercy and revealed kindness are revealed in the world. So if we all get there, which we shall, then we get to feel it, and that feeling will spread across as well. Because as we raise ourselves, we're also raising humanity too. Right? Just like scientists do. Scientists invent something. And by that invention, they raise the whole of humanity to that level of knowledge, understanding, and so on, right? It's the same thing. This is why we don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. All right? Now then, we've got a question, have we? Ingrid's asking, does one need to invest herself to the group in order to see the group valuable? Yeah, exactly. If I invest in the group, it becomes valuable. when I initially come to the group, it's not that valuable. By investing in it, you make it valuable. Because you begin to say to yourself, I've put so much effort into this. So for me now it becomes valuable. And then I don't want to throw it away. And if one doesn't have anything that she can invest, not true. Not true at all. Because whoever is studying the wisdom of Kabbalah in a good environment like ours, you can always find a place where you can feel something in your friend's heart. It is impossible for you not to have an influence of fulfillment or a good act or a good feeling to somebody else. It's just not possible. It means you're not looking. If I want to love someone, I will find ways. Trust me. All right? Because if you want to love someone, you will find ways to touch them, connect with them, do good to them, to hug them. You're going to find ways to do things. You're going to come up with 1,001 things. This is what we do also in our corporeal life when we're flirting. It's the same thing. We're like flirting with the Creator, right? It's the same thing. So if you see someone from a bit of distance, you think, wow, she's got a nice smile. Okay. So then you start thinking, how can I get to know her? Do I have any friends who know her? Maybe I need an introduction. Okay. Same here, right? We start to think. If I feel now like I need to connect with the friends in order to move forward in this love, then I have to start thinking, what can I do for my friends so that we can all connect better? All right. We just had a group meal the other day with a 10, right? I'm not talking about the dinner we're having together in the center. All right. So we had Igor, he's in the 10. He's a really good cook. He cooks really good. And he brought out the food. We went to Ellie's house. He brought out the drinks. So Igor was cooking. We're doing the salad. Ellie's serving the drinks. Okay. So everybody's contributing to the good atmosphere of the group so that we can connect more and more together in the love of friends by bestowing to each other so that we can come closer to the attribute of bestowal of the Creator. Then you can feel the Creator, because then you can feel this subtle sensation that everything between the friends is just perfect. It's doable. It's just that we don't want to do it so much. Alrighty, so we'll call it a night, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. All the best. Have a good one. Have a good week. Next time.